Hey, what's up guys? We are here for another mock test. Today we are in Hendon with Robbie.
Okay guys, we're going to get straight into it so I can tell you exactly what's going on in the driving test. Make sure you follow me on the other channels as well. Zondo Driving on Instagram and TikTok. Alright, so we are in Hendon. We're not allowed to go into the main car park, so that's why we're starting a bit down the road. It's still in the same estate, but a bit further down, closer to the exit of the estate. Just turning left. Remember, this section here is very busy. Lots of people parking, pedestrians walking around, people reversing out of parking spaces. It's very narrow as well, so just take your time here and go super slow. So Robbie's doing well so far to start off this test.
At the end here we're going to turn
giving
left,
space
please.
for that pedestrian, so very good awareness there. I don't know if you can tell, but this is a bit of a hill here, so you need to be really careful how you're dealing with this. Got a car stopped on the junction there, which is causing other cars to potentially go around that car, but luckily no one did that. But you got to be ready for those kind of scenarios. Then onto the 30 road, straight away to a zebra crossing, checking both sides. It's looking good.
Okay, we've got a roundabout
Carry
coming
on.
up. We're going to go right 4th exit, which is coming back all the way around to this way, yeah?
So here we're going right 4th exit, which is going to bring us all the way around to the same road again. So good positioning to the right. Right signal on the approach. Taking the right nice and early. Putting the signal back on if it cancelled. And here, very good positioning so far, and then checking his mirror. Very good signaling, very good timing on the signal as well. And make sure you cancel your signal there. People have failed here before for not cancelling their signal, especially going past this junction. You can't do that with your left signal on. It's going to be very dangerous.
It'd be different from my last test because it was like clear.
Was it quite like earlier? Was it not early in the morning? Was it like mid-morning?
It was like 8:57 it started.
Really? And it was quiet at that time?
Yeah, very. It was Saturday morning.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was thinking during the week, that's quite a busy time, but everyone's at home that time, isn't it? Saturday.
Yeah.
And they're now coming up to another zebra crossing. So it's just a matter of paying attention to both sides, nice and clear. And Robbie was mentioning there that he came for his last test on a Saturday morning and it was pretty quiet. So the time and day that you go does make a difference. Like school holidays is pretty quiet as well during the daytime, even on a weekday. But don't let that put you off too much. Whatever test you can get, you should go for it, because nowadays it's quite tricky to get them. So practice enough and you should be fine. So a bit further down, you can see a bus in the left. I would have slowed down a bit more here, because these buses are near a bus stop, and you know buses can hide pedestrians that are trying to cross. So I would have slowed down a bit more there. Good mirror checks to go around those parked cars. And he's doing a decent speed on this section. So for some reason a lot of learners go really slow here, but it's nice and wide. It's wide enough for both vehicles to come down comfortably. You don't want to be sticking too close to the left, because there's not enough space to do that. So sometimes you have to go a little bit over the line, but the oncoming vehicles can see that, and then they'll move a bit more to their left because there's enough room for them to do that. Just like if you're coming back from that way as well, you need to be making space for other vehicles if you have it. And you can see coming up to a junction now where there's a lot going on, and Robbie's starting to slow down, braking gently, which is really good. And remember, this situation, pedestrians don't have priority in this situation, but there's no point in blocking them anyway. So he stopped nice and early and let them cross. Didn't use any arm signals or hand signals to tell them to cross. They just crossed when they were ready. So now here he's got priority and he's gone forward now. I wouldn't have gone forward that quickly. You want to move in a way that shows people you have priority and that you're moving forward, but don't accelerate too harshly, because if another person is about to turn in front of you in that situation, you don't have time to react. So just drive and move off in a normal, smooth way. Coming up to a roundabout now, and just slapped it into first, so you can go nice and slowly on the approach. So I hear a lot of people say that you can't go into first gear when the car is still moving. This is not true. In most cars, you can go into first gear when the car is still moving. You just have to make sure you're doing the right speed. If you're going too fast, it's going to lock you out of gear 1, but if you're going slow enough, it will allow you to go into first gear. In this car, if you try to move at that speed in second gear, the car would struggle a lot. But here we're turning right at this roundabout. This roundabout used to have 2 lanes on the approach, and then they've taken the line off, so now it's like one big lane. I would still think about positioning myself towards the right on the approach if I'm turning right, and towards the left if I'm turning left. So Robbie's doing that very well, so he's positioned himself to the right nicely. Waiting for a nice safe gap from the right. The signal had cancelled itself and he put it back on, which is very important because people still need to know where you're planning to go in this roundabout. So it's being nice and patient, waiting for a nice gap. And then off we go. Taking the next left, mirror mirror, signal, gearing down to second gear, which is very good gear for this sort of turn because it's nice and wide. So even though it's a 30, he's not doing 30 miles an hour straight away, or
when it's
doesn't
safe,
even need to
shouldn't
do
I use
30
the
miles
horn,
an hour
please?
here because it's quite bendy. But at the same time, he's not going too slow either. Look at the car maneuvering on the left there. I would be very careful with that sort of car because they could easily not see you and then try to come out in front of you. So I would have my brake covered there, or at least slow down a bit just in case
At the end,
they do
turn
something
right,
silly.
please.
And then here, coming out of the side road into the main road, turning right onto Mill Hill Broadway towards Mill Hill Circus. This junction can be very busy, and you're about to see now how tricky it can be. So we're waiting for a nice gap to go to the right. In this situation, if it's really busy, I wouldn't even stress. If it's super busy, I'll just treat it like it's a red light and wait for a green light. And the green light only comes when there's lots of space. So you see the van there has blocked the path. It's a red light on the left there. We could have gone through if that van had left off space, but he didn't, so it's not a big deal. We'll just have to wait for another gap now. But because of that van blocking, it's gonna feel like you're there for ages, and it's gonna feel like you're taking too long. But just remember, there's nothing you could have done. You're there for a reason. You're there because there's no space for you to go through. And here now, it's gone forward when you really should have waited for that car to move out the way first, because he was there, another car had to stop, so the white car couldn't go past, and then he got a serious fault for that. He also got a minor fault for driving too close
Roundabout, turn left, first exit.
that little smart car. So in that situation, wait for a space and then make sure you can actually make the turn before you go forward. Here, turning left, first exit onto the dual carriageway. Nice and clear on the right. Into a 50-mile-an-hour road. Building up his speed nicely. I was a bit concerned that he's going to go past the cars on the right, but you see he's doing really well to not pass them on their left.
We're going straight, second exit.
But now they're going slower because of traffic. You can start going past them slowly. And because we're going straight, second exit at the next roundabout, the left lane is best. You can use the middle lane as well, but it's not ideal. Left lane is better, but watch what he does when he's going to the left lane. So you see, he starts to go in the lane and then checks his mirror. By then, if there was someone there, it would have been too late. You want to check your mirrors first, and then go into the lane. Don't check your mirror afterwards or after you already started steering towards that lane. Check before. And this is a bit of a hill as well, but you've done it really well. I was concerned about this coach, but he's gone past it, so don't need to worry about it too much now, because I've seen large vehicles crush smaller vehicles in the left lane there because they just misjudge their lane or because they need more space. So just be careful. If you've got a large vehicle on your right there,
take the next left,
just
please.
be mindful that they might not see you, or they
there.
might even crash into you as they maneuver into the roundabout. Turning left off the dual carriageway. This can be quite tricky.
Follow
Lots
on
of
the
people
left
fail
and
there as well
please.
because they can't control their speed. They go in there too fast. But Robbie done that pretty well.
Thank you.
Pulling over on the left.
When you're
for
ready,
parallel
we're going to
park.
use this car to do the parallel park exercise. So when you're ready, pull up alongside it and then reverse into the space behind it. You can finish anywhere within 2 car lengths. When you're ready, please.
Decent observations. Could have done a last minute or last second blind spot check before moving out, but it's still good. And then he's adjusting the mirrors. I don't think he's seeing the blind spot mirrors, which do the exact same job as moving the mirror down. A lot of people don't see them when they get in my car for some reason, but if you can get blind spot mirrors, they make parking so much easier. And you don't need a signal on, by the way, when you're doing this reverse park. People around you will know what you're doing already. If you have got your brake, if you've got your reverse lights on and you're parked next to that car, people will know that you're trying to do a parallel park. So far so good. Good control, good looking around. Doing a little adjustment to get a bit closer.
Thank you. And then drive on, please, when you're ready.
So that was pretty good. So he started pretty close to that car. I would have reversed back a bit. I didn't say anything to him because I was hoping that he'd reverse back. And I also just wanted to see what it was going to do. But if you're in that situation on your test and you're really close to the car in front, or that's how you just finished parking, reverse back a bit. It's much easier that way. Otherwise you run the risk of getting too close to that other car as you drive off. And this road, you can get meeting situations down here, so be very careful. It's a 30, but I wouldn't be going too fast down this road because it's quite bendy as well, and some cars just pop out of nowhere.
At the end, turn right, please.
Very good positioning there. And you see how he started looking already left and right before we got to the junction, before we got to the line. That's what you want to be doing, so that if it's clear and you can see that it's clear, you can keep moving. Don't wait until you get to the lines to start doing observations. You notice that you had it out of gear with the handbrake on. You don't have to do it like that if you're not comfortable doing it like that, but if you do, that's fine. As long as you can get the car ready again in time to move off when you get a nice gap, you can do it whichever way you like. Most learners prefer to have the car in gear ready so that they don't have much to do. All they have to do then is, once they see a gap, is come off the brake at the biting point, or get the biting point, come off the brake and then move off. But if you're going to neutral and going to put your handbrake on, you're giving yourself more steps. But if you can do it comfortably, it's completely fine. Coming up to a section now where the road bends really sharply towards the left. Sometimes the examiners will tell you this, and you see that car came really flying out of nowhere, so you've got to be prepared for those kind of situations there. Robbie done that really well. And this is quite a steep section as well, so in some cars like this, if you're not in first gear, it might struggle going up that hill at low speeds. In another car, it will do perfectly fine in second. It just depends on the car. Nice observations there. Especially that last second check over his right shoulder. Really good. So on the independent drive, we're turning right at the end. Now this section here is going to take quite a long time because you can't see it, but on the right of us there's a van blocking our view, and then there's a constant stream of traffic coming from the left and the right. So I'm just going to fast forward it a bit. And what Robbie did is, there's a traffic light or pedestrian crossing further down on the right. He looked there and was waiting for it to go red, and then he knew once it went red there was a better chance that there would be no one coming from the right hand side, and that's when he took his chance and crept forward and was nice and clear. So I'm going to skip forward to that section. So now joining the traffic, and someone actually gave me a bit of space to go and join in, which was really nice. So in that situation, you want to make eye contact with other drivers. They'll usually let you through. So as we go towards this van here, which is going to go left a bit towards the bus stop, but he didn't check his mirror to do that. And anybody could be there. A cyclist could be there. A motorbike could be going past. So before you steer that far left, you really should check your mirror first. And then at this roundabout, we're going straight second exit because we changed the route of the independent drive because there was too much traffic going towards the right. This can happen on your test as well. So sometimes they might give you one route to follow, and then they realize, oh, there's lots of traffic that way, and they could change it. So be prepared to adapt. They can make changes to the driving test in terms of the route at any time. Slowing down nicely for the car coming out of the side road there. So I had some people in a video that I posted where somebody failed because another driver was reversing and turning their car towards the learner, and the learner failed because they didn't react, and people were a bit angry about it, saying how can that be fair? Why would they fail because it's the other person's responsibility to stop? That is true, but if you don't do something about it, if you see something happening, or if you don't see something that you're supposed to be seeing, a hazard, even if it's not your fault, if you don't react, you're going to fail for it. Because the test is there to make sure that you can react to other drivers as well, and other road users who may not be following the rules or who might make mistakes. So you need to be ready to do that. So if you're going for your test, make sure you're ready to react to other drivers who are not paying attention. So now we're doing the second stage of the independent drive. And again, on these kind of sections, remember you can ask the examiner which way you're supposed to be going. Don't stay quiet if you're not sure. Taking it nice and easy through this section of road because it's not that wide here. And Robbie's doing really well.
So he is right.
Correct.
So turning right at the traffic lights, and watch how he stops. Yeah, so that was pretty good because you see the bus, the front of the bus basically went on the lane that we're in, and Robbie done really well to respond to that. And another bus could be coming around the corner, which is why it's kind of kept back a bit, and it's not too far from the stop line. But this is what you have to do, guys: respond to what's happening in front of you. If somebody
Yeah,
does something
wasn't
that
thinking
either they're not
to do the mock
supposed to
test, then it
do or
was
makes a
even
mistake,
very uncomfortable for
you
you as
have to
well.
respond. If
Yeah.
Robbie kept driving there, he could have crashed into the bus. So well done, Robbie. Something that a lot of learners struggle with, turning right at traffic lights. Make sure you practice this a lot and you know exactly what you need to do before you go for your test. I would have waited for that blue car there. He kind of rushed to go through there, had to put lots of gas on to move. And you see he's going to do this quite a bit further down as well on roundabouts. If you feel like you have to go really quickly to get out of someone's way, you shouldn't really be moving. Just wait for another safer gap. See, like I was saying before about pedestrians near bus stops, a lot of them will just cross without paying attention, which is why you want to go slower when you go past buses at bus stops. It's something that's
Use lights
in the
anyway.
theory
Yeah.
test as well, because
There's also a
it is
pedestrian
something that
crossing.
happens a lot, so make sure you do that.
So at the end of this one.
So it's not doing badly to move off quickly there, but I wouldn't wait for the light to start changing and then start getting into gear. I would get into gear before the lights change to green or before they even go to amber. And then here the lanes are merging together into one. He's checked his mirror. The car behind us is kind of, I don't know what they were doing. They're positioning themselves really far to the right. I think they're turning right, that's why, but it didn't seem like they were trying to let Robbie go through, but he done really well to check his mirrors properly and not go through aggressively. He was still aware of what's going on around him. That's what you want to do. Make sure you're fully aware of what's going on next to you before you try to
And what was the next one?
blend into
Next
the other lane.
left.
This is where we're turning left. So you see what that van is doing there? That's what Robbie did earlier. That's why he got the serious, because he had gone forward when he couldn't complete the turn, and then he ended up blocking the road. So that's a serious. So if anybody does anything like that on their test, like what the van was doing in front of Robbie there, that is a serious fault. You can't come out and block traffic. Then in this roundabout, turning right. So you see there, he has to go quickly there because another car was coming from the right. He made it, but he had to rush. I wouldn't have done that. I would have just waited for a safer gap. Maybe two cars blocking that car, or if I'd got there earlier and I saw that car stopping, then I'd go. But if I have to rush to get into the roundabout, then it's probably not the best time to go. It's very well to go around this roundabout, so you don't have to go fully all the way around, but what you don't want to do is go on the wrong side of it completely, because that's going to be an issue. And then here we're approaching another roundabout. So we've got a bus coming from the left, we've got a bus coming from ahead that's indicating to turn as well, but he's stopped nice and early, I think, to let this bus come through. So we let the bus turn, and then he's got priority now as well. Then he can go. So the bus on the left was waiting for us, but we had to wait for the other bus. But then when we waited, the other bus started moving anyway. The bus on the left started moving anyway, so we couldn't really move. So Robbie done really well there to just wait for everything to become clear. So turning left at the end where we've got a zebra crossing right at the junction. So here you need to be really careful how you deal with this, because you've got to deal with the people crossing and also the giveaway lines, and also any traffic that has priority coming from the right hand side there. So it's a lot to think about. But when you're the only car that's, let's say the car in front of us is gone now, and you want to wait by the giveaway line, don't be afraid to block the pedestrian crossing. Like, see the car's done, he's partially blocking the pedestrian crossing, but that's fine because there's no space to do this without blocking the pedestrian crossing. But if there's a car in front of you, don't go close behind them and then block the crossing that way. That's going to be a problem. But when you are the one that's going to the giveaway line, don't worry about blocking the zebra crossing, because otherwise if you don't do it, you can't see properly into the junction.
Take the next right, please.
And then we're turning right back into the estate where the test center is. So he's about to turn. This car's letting him turn, but he's seen that there's no space because the car is basically at the edge of the road, so there's no space for him to turn. So Robbie, well done for that, because the person who was flashing could put pressure on you, but Robbie done really well not to go forward. But again, see, it's happening again where there's a little traffic there and there's a car coming down. I still would have waited there. He still made it in the end, but that was a bit risky. I would have still waited for a nicer gap and then gone. So too many people are scared of hesitation. People hardly fall for hesitation, but way more people fall for going when they shouldn't have gone. So that's something for you to think about.
Okay, go a bit slower, please. Pull up on the left there. Just go really close to these cars.
So now we're at the end of the test. We can't go into the car park, so we're going to finish it off here, and then I'll let Mark and Robbie take over for the debrief.
Okay, switch the engine off, please. You okay?
Yeah. Very good.
Alright, just give me a sec. Alright, how do you feel that went?
I feel like there was one or two serious things
Mm-hmm.
that I had done.
What are those ones?
With the red smart car,
Mm.
when I was turning right, when we were coming from where the 221 turns up, I got a bit close as they were turning in.
Yeah.
And yeah, for me it was just I was trying to take that space while it was the traffic was like stopped by one of the cars turning in. But then obviously she had to wait, and then the other cars behind were turning in as well, so I could have waited, but that was for me what I think.
Okay. Any other ones?
I think I may have boarded the curb a little bit on one of the right turns on the independent driving, but I'm not too sure.
No, I don't think so. On the independent driving, we turned right and then straight at the roundabout, and then right at the lights, and then
It
left.
was the right at the lights, I think, but I'm not too sure.
You were nowhere near the curb. No, the first thing you mentioned, that was a serious fault, yeah?
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you already kind of analysed it yourself. You should have just waited a bit longer.
Yeah.
There, it felt like you're really itching to come out.
Yeah.
If you can't come out, just wait. There was a time where a van driver kind of blocked you, so that made it feel like you were there for too long. But it wasn't anything that you could do anything about. Yeah, it wasn't your fault. So don't feel like, oh my God, I gotta get going because I've been here for ages.
Yeah.
You were there for ages because it was busy and because that van driver didn't leave that space for you to go through.
Yeah.
Nothing you can do about it. Yeah. You've done it well. Do you know where that bit where it was a bit obscured and we started independent driving, turning right, and then there's a van parked on the corner and there's lots of traffic coming from the left.
Yeah. When I was waiting for the lights to turn red.
Is that what you're doing for the pedestrian
Yeah.
section? Okay, yeah.
Because I was just making sure that the cars coming to the red light were gonna move enough that there was a space for me to.
Yeah, you were patient there, and near the end here as well, turning in.
Yeah.
You're about to turn because that Audi stopped for you, but then you realised there was a build-up.
Yeah.
You risked it at the end though, you know. I would have waited for a bit longer there as well and make sure for definite there's enough space for me to go in.
Black car was coming a bit quick.
Yeah.
And there was another blue car that came not quite quick, but it was a right turn, and I've turned in quite quick because I saw the space. But obviously when luckily they weren't going too fast. But I should just take the time.
Take the time, yeah, because there's been a couple of times on roundabouts as well when you're like putting lots of gas and bringing the clutch up quickly. Yeah. If you have to do it like that, really, that's probably not the best time. Yeah. You managed it, but you're kind of taking risks there. Yeah, I wouldn't do it if it doesn't feel like you can do it smoothly. Just wait for a bigger gap. Sure. Yeah, there's no need to rush. So one serious. So it's not a bad mock test actually. You got a minor for getting a bit close to that car that we just mentioned, so kind of the same thing. Yeah. You turned in and you got close. But the serious is not because you got close. That could be a serious as well in itself, but it's because you actually stopped the cars that are coming from the right now. There was a white van. He's got to stop now because you're in his way. Then the smart car moved and then it was clear. Yeah. A couple of minors on mirror checks.
Okay.
Your left mirror is a bit weak.
Okay.
Yeah, check that a bit more. So one time we were approaching Apex on the dual carriageway, and we were going straight second exit. So you've gone to move into the left lane, which is a good idea, but you've checked your mirror a bit after you've already started going. Yeah, and you already kind of started going in. If there was a car there or bike there, it would have been too late.
Yeah.
And then just after the bit when we were waiting for a long time to turn right, where you're waiting for the light to change, we've gone past the lights now, and then there's a bus stop I think on the left, and we're kind of weaving through traffic, and you've turned quite a bit left, but you didn't check there.
Okay.
There could be a motorcyclist there or a bike or anything could be there. You need to check your left mirror a bit more before you start going towards the left. Okay. Yeah. That's it really. So it wasn't bad. If you hadn't done that one, if you had been more patient there, you'd have passed it with like 2 minors and maybe even 1 minor, because it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just left mirror check. So it's not bad at all, man.
It's good that I make them now rather than on the actual test. Like,
it feels like you're in a little bit of a rush sometimes. Take your time. Think about it. Is what you're doing, does it feel safe? If the answer is no, just keep waiting. Yeah. But well done. Guys, thanks so much for watching. If you want to do a mock test yourself, make sure you contact me using these details here. I'll see you in the next one. Make sure you subscribe as well, guys. Take care. Bye.